one thing that I keep hearing about from everyone is that managing context in a Claude chat is super difficult, right? Again, every time you're trying to do a task with Claude Code, you will hit into issues. Claude will forget what it was doing. And the reason is that very simply because Claude context, the way it works is that if I talk to you across 20 minutes of this video and you watch the whole video, then very simply you will remember what I said at the end very easily compared to what I said at the start by the time you complete this. And that's how you have to think about this. So let's actually start understanding how to manage context. If you just learn these 5 things, you can really manage your context and never run out. Now, the first thing that we need to talk about is how to actually check the context that you are in. So just type /context in your Claude Code window, and you will actually see the context being loaded up. You will see what is being used. And you can see here in this chart that I have, it's just 5% of it is being utilized, and more or less it's being utilized by these options. So you have the most being utilized by system tools and by MCPs, and which I am pretty sure, again, I'm not even using here, and messages which I have just sent. So this is the chart. It's pretty long and it has used 28,000 tokens up till now. So with all of that in place, the first thing that I need to suggest you to do is again, you can, if you are in the task where a certain part of the task is done. So for example, I was trying to build an HTML web page and a part of it is done, but now I need to start editing the same web page. Now, once you type in compact, what Claude starts doing is simply compacts the conversation or summarizes the conversation and stores the summary of that conversation in its history rather than storing everything that we have talked about. Very simply, as soon as you start seeing that the context is getting full, or you are getting towards a certain part of task which is now forgetting it, or Claude is not able to remember what it was trying to do, you can type compact, and what happens here is Claude summarizes the conversation and kind of brings the summary of that conversation only forward. So that means it reduces the whole conversation history into a summary and just brings that. So it helps you clear up context to a certain extent. As we can see here, it says that it has reduced around 49,000 tokens. Now, I know that this is not going to be exactly 49,000 tokens just because on the way context is calculated, but you can see we have got around 20,000 tokens less compared to the start of the chart by just using a single command. Now, I just want to make a word of caution. Compact works pretty well when you are trying to do, you can say, similar kind of tasks, but also at the same time, you should only use it when you have an extreme need to continue the same chart. And if you don't have a need to continue in the same chat window, just ignore it and use the other 4 tricks that I'm talking about. Okay, so let's go to the next part here. Now, let's say we are in the same chat, but now as you imagine that we are switching tasks. Instead of building an HTML page, I want to technically start building a dashboard, or I want to start building completely something fresh. So one option is obviously to just go ahead and click on Claude and start a new chart. Or if you want to continue in the same chart, just because you have loaded up some details, you can just say clear. As you can see, as soon as you do clear, it kind of clears up everything and you're just in a new chart. Now, you could just technically start a new chart here itself, but again, this is a cool trick if you're just in the same session and you just want to do things rapidly fast. And very simply, when you click clear conversation, it's the same as starting a new chart. Just simply that you are in the same window and you don't want to start a new chart. This is literally like zero. You're starting from zero, and this is pretty helpful when you are technically done with the task and want to go on to the next task. And this mostly makes sense if you're in a terminal, because writing clear very simply starts a new session. That's it. So it's better to use it in the terminal rather than if you're using the UI option on VS Code. But again, I wanted to mention that if you just want to start something new, you can go ahead. And one hack is actually just very simply prompting. And let me explain you what do I mean by that. If you can see here, technically, I have a file opened here, which is my portfolio that I want to edit. Now, I can come here and say again, make this beautiful, which would mean nothing. If I just say make this portfolio beautiful, right? Again, is just a very bad prompt, because right now I have given all the creativity to Claude, but also that means it will have to now understand what is in the portfolio, go through all of those things, and you will see it has started reading the portfolio. It is going to get the files, it is going to read everything. It's going to load so many things in the context, which is not needed. Better option, what I could do is very simply give a very specific set of instruction. Simply give a light mode in same style, but a bit different than Ghibli, and maybe we also update the fonts for the light mode. That is a specific change. That is a specific prompt that exactly knows what Claude Code needs to do. That is the idea that you need to use here. If you want to again not figure this out and you want to say, Akshat, I want to plan with Claude, then use the plan mode. But when you're asking Claude Code to do something, just give it a specific prompt. And this prompt is specific because now it exactly knows what to do. It can go ahead and it will go ahead and seriously just fetch the right file and change it. You can see it read once and it's now going to go ahead and update everything rather than reading multiple files that it did before, because the prompt was just super specific. So very simply, go ahead and whenever you are prompting, please just take a second, exactly know what you want to do, and go ahead and tell Claude to do that. Don't try to ask Claude go ahead and figure it out by yourself unless you actually want it to figure out by yourself, and then you don't care about context. But if you can just say do this, I want you to change this file, I want you to update this, that's it. That is all you need to do. It's the easiest step. I just wish more people did it. And please, it takes a minute to prompt better, which will save you so many tokens in the long run. So just take a minute. Now, some of you might be like, Akshat, all of this makes sense, but it does not work when you're actually trying to do something important. Well, very simply, I would say check out agents. When I say agents, you can see in my directory, I have a couple of agents that I can use. So I can very simply say YouTube growth agent, and I can say run that agent, because that agent has its own separate context window and it will not take up the context window that I am having the chart in. So I can say run YouTube agent. I can say again, give it a task. So I will say run the brief for this week, and it will now go ahead and start looking at all the details and everything that it needs to do. But that still means that it has its own separate context window and it's not going to include my chart. So if I was having a massive chart here, it will just go ahead, utilize that and have its own separate conversation. It will not mess my chat conversation happening. So very simply, if you are in your session and you are doing a task with Claude Code, what you can do is just spawn an agent and say again, go ahead and do this, and it will go ahead and do this in a separate file, and will go ahead and do this in a separate place. And very simply, once the task is done, it will come back to your chart and just inform that back. The best part is because the sub agent is kind of again, think about it as an intern who is doing something separately, and it's not taking up your time. You have given it a task and it's going to go ahead and complete the task and it's going to come back to you. And that can also again help you so much. So just go ahead and spawn a sub agent whenever you need something specific to be done. And if you have something that you want to keep doing all the time, just build an agent so that you can use it next time when you want it. Okay, we are on the last hack that I can't tell you how much I stress people and they still don't do it. This is about your Claude.md file. So your Claude.md file is the file in a project which has all the details. And if your file is too long, this is one single file that is loaded up every time you start a new chart. Every time you start a new chart, this file gets loaded. And you can see this is my file here. And one thing that I crazily do is make sure that this file is never over 200 lines. I've actually never hit 200 lines. I've edited it so much to keep only the instructions that are important every time I have a chart in this particular repository. So you can see this file is around 86 lines and should include very specific things. It should only include what do you want to be loaded every time. So I want the context of the project loaded. I want the principles of this, right? Again, what are we trying to do? I'm asking it to figure out if I'm trying to build something, should we have an API for this rather than a skill? And would that make sense? Again, things that whenever I'm building something here is important. Whenever I'm doing something in this project are important, which I don't want to reiterate. So these are instructions that I want to be loaded every time. But if there is anything that does not matter here, I will just remove it. I'm pretty sure I can also now remove the skill creation standards and just make it a single line that always use the skill creator. And that is how you can edit it. Literally, I can go ahead and update it all the time to reduce the information that is needed every time a chart starts. Because this is something that will be used up in every time that we're using this. So again, go ahead and literally, again, reduce your file. Really just keep it less than 200 lines. No matter what happens, don't go above 200 lines. If you're going above 200 lines, I'm telling you, you're doing something wrong. You are bloating the instructions. Don't bloat them. Keep them clear, keep them strict, and as you can see on the beautiful image here, keep it clean and have fun with it. There you have it. Very simply, everything that you need to know to actually manage your context window and never run out of context in a single chat session. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, because if you enjoyed this, I will have to tell you more about Claude Code and a lot of other AI tools that are coming up. I'm Akshat Bharati, and I would love to see you in the next one.